right, welcome Times New Roman book club meeting. It's just me and Will this week. No Nick. Nick is, you know what, actually, let's talk about this.
A little under the weather.
He's a little under the weather. But he made fun of me for not reading during, what was it, Iron Flame, not getting the book done, and I had stomach pains. So now it's Nick's turn. This is karma, Nick. Now we're seeing it come to its true form here.
I didn't think about that, but yeah, I guess that is true. A little full circle moment.
Full circle moment. Full circle on the toilet, that's for sure. But I guess let's get into it. We finished last time on chapter 23. We just met Narelle, and then she's got the books that we need, or Violet needs. And that's kind of where we left off. Now, I guess we can...
And then this section's 24 to 37, the chapters.
Yeah, 24 to 37. I got to be honest with you. I'm trying to remember what the hell Narelle's questions were. Narelle's questions were about... Oh, wait, no. Let me bring... I know what we're talking about here.
Yeah, go if you
dude.
Cue me in when you need me. I think I got it.
Okay, because I was gonna say the only question I remember is her going, this is Dane. This is your boyfriend. That's the only thing I can remember.
That whole chapter or that whole scene, because I think like there's more to the chapter. I was just like cringing the whole time as Violet's getting peppered about her love life and to see like how smart she is. Because the questions were like, what do you, like it's not said, but why did the Krovlin uprising like fail?
Yeah.
And then like she made her like get like hypothesize that they wanted dragons and they wouldn't trade them.
Dude, a lot of talk about
that was
dragons.
Like all overshadowed by fucking the like love talk. It was so weird.
The love talk was super weird, super uncomfortable, but it was funny. Props to Dane for staying cool, staying calm and collective. Saying obviously losing is cool. Saying losing is cool. Being a child, it is what it is. But Dane's the man. But dude, I can't wait until we actually chat about this later, because I had my Big T moment. I had my character that is Big T. It's gonna have to be called Big A, bro. Big Eric is the man in these chapters coming up.
Oh, Eric is the man. I thought you were thinking Big T for the triumvirate or whatever it is.
Oh, that's
we just call him Big T, so we don't got to worry about how to say it.
I'm gonna call that the trumpets. They're just like
trumpets. I like that. Yeah, they suck.
Oh, they suck so bad. But I honestly, I can say firmly that was my favorite chapter in this segment. That honestly probably favorite chapter in the book. That was fucking sick. I love that part. Yes,
I agree. Best section of the book. The mom sucks. I mean, we don't want to get too far ahead, but the mom was crazy reveal.
Oh yeah.
But after the books, they go to rescue your boy Halden. You're saying Zayden's a child. Halden's an old child, dude, causing a ruckus.
Halden's a sad boy. He's lost in his own sauce.
Do you want to defend that, or are you?
I'm trying to think if I can
come to the fact that it's a tough take.
I'm trying. Dude, he's just like a basket rider at this point. He is he's such a soft character.
He got relegated from basket riding.
He did get relegated from basket riding, and on top of that, dude, that whole scene was just crazy. And the way he acts too is just like, I don't know. He's not. The thing is, he's not really like a bad character. He's just a moron. I feel like he seems more of like just a selfish character.
He's a well-written character.
Yeah,
he's a well-written character for sure.
I like what I'm trying to say is like Varish and all that. Like Varish like had like he's in his mind he felt like he was still defending Navarre. Halden, I feel like, is strictly like a for himself kind of character, and I think we do get just a glimpse when he gets rejected from being on the when ONYX steps up and is like, "Dude, you're done, go home." we get that small glimpse of like where it seems like maybe Halden has only a sliver amount of allegiance to his brother Eric. When he gives that look to Violet, and he's like, and Violet's like, "Don't worry, I'll look after him," kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like a
I
little bit of
think he
concern.
definitely cares about Arik. Because he's like talking about how he's like, we were looking in all of like the gambling and pleasure houses, and
Oh
then
yeah,
Arik's just like, oh, you were looking in your favorite spots, huh?
yeah, that was a smooth move.
But I thought, like, he's definitely just a moron. Like crossing book realms, into the Broken Blades. I do think he's pretty much like Ewan
Yeah, he's a
or
Yoon for
you,
sure. He's definitely.
because it's like pretty much the same. Just like cares about themselves and like the crown.
Yeah, I'm trying to
Because in
think.
his mind, like, I feel like in Halden's mind, he's still, like, he knows he's gonna be king, but he lives his life like he still has his older brother, and he's, like, not really in line to the throne. He's just living it up as, like, I'm royalty, I do what I want.
Yeah, no, I definitely get that. And to those of you who don't know what we're talking about, Yoon, we're talking about from the Five Broken Blades series. Great book, just fantastic. Well, fantastic
Highly
series.
recommend.
Yeah, Mike Corlin, great. But the dude Yoon, I would say yes. I like the Yoon comparison, but I would say Yoon is just more emotional than Holland is. I feel like Holden is.
For sure, but you gotta think we do get, like, Yoon's a main character in that
Yeah.
series, so it's like if we got Halden POVs, like if we got that entire scene with what's his name, Corlin and
Mm-hmm.
the Panthers, like from Halden's point of view, I think it would definitely show more apt comparisons to Yoon.
Dude, I want to know King. I forget the king's name. King T. I'm just gonna call him. I want to know his like mindset on like your son just got stabbed in through the hand and was like kidnapped by the Corlin person. Like that is just
Oh yeah,
insane. Part
I don't,
stabbing the prince in the hand and like not giving a fuck either.
dude. Honestly, you like jumping into your brain, like how you view the characters. I kind of loved Corlin.
You love
Like I
Corlin?
thought he was I thought he was a sick character, and like obviously in the scenario he appears to be the bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
But like how you were saying, like Varus does like what he does in
Mm-hmm.
defense of Navarre. Corlin like is literally the same person like
Oh yeah.
the whole time, and like Violet, something like gets talked about like prior to that chapter where Violet like it said that don't make a deal that like you can't keep,
Yeah.
and I thought it was gonna be like Violet ends up doing it, which still seems like there was one made, but it's just like because at the end of the chapter, Corwin's like another trade, and then she brings it up again
Mm-hmm.
later, like very briefly. I don't know what that's gonna be, but I didn't know that it was gonna be Halden that just fucking is a dumbass and agrees to trade. What was it the a dagger of Tyrandor?
Yeah, a dragon that didn't belong to him. Yeah, it was the Tyrandor, and then that's why they asked Zayden, and
Yeah.
Zayden. I don't know if Zayden really cared, to be honest with you. I'm trying to remember why that whole scene kind of broke out. Really, like I almost more like he just wanted
Well,
to flex his panthers and be like, "Yo, check these panthers out. Watch him eat
kinda.
your girl's head."
That's at least half of the situation. But if I remember right, it's like Zayden steps in and is about to pull out the sword of Tyrandor that he just got back to like give, and then Violet's like, no, 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 and then is like about to pull out Andarna's eggshell,
Oh yeah, yeah, that show was sick.
and then they're like going like back and forth about like who should give what, and then Halden like freaks out at Violet, and then Corwin's just like, I've had enough of this. Just feed him to the Panthers.
Yeah, that's what it was. Nothing like really broke out. He was just tired of it. Honestly, the whole
Yeah, it was their own like procrastination and taking so long to come up with a deal that he was just like, whatever.
yeah, get him out of here. Yeah, his character. I enjoyed his character. His character reminded me not to draw another connection to Five Broken Blade. Well, I guess Four Ruined Realms, but the Queen. I don't want to spoil
Kilmar?
anything. Quilmar, yeah. I was getting real Quilmar vibes from him. Just the way he acted, I don't really care about this. Just so dismissive and just being like, whatever.
I don't hate that comparison, yeah.
Yeah. Dude, I almost
Yeah,
want to.
I have like a scene I'm drawing comparison to, but I don't want to say anything about the second book.
Yeah, I don't either, because I have the scene, but it would ruin.
Yeah.
It just ruined the books.
Yeah.
But also, we also now get to see Andarna is just becoming almost like front and center
A
now.
badass.
She's not secondary
Yeah.
plot character anymore. It's no longer tiered. Oh, and then there's then there's afterthought Andarna. Now it's the both of them.
Yeah, well, because like we're learning that she's so powerful, and we'll talk about it like when we get to it. But it's definitely some kind of mind work signet that Violet's gonna have.
Yeah.
Through Andarna, but she's and because like the Irids are the whole big like plot line, so I feel like obviously they're gonna focus on Andarna more, especially when she does do like especially that scene when she comes in and like was invisible, or she's holding the panther
Mm-hmm. It goes invisible.
and then she just goes invisible like that. That was pretty sick.
That's tough. But dude, my other thing is like all these we'll talk about later with the Isles, but it's like they're all like so just like don't really care about the dragons. Like sure they have their crossbows up and everything like that, but they also are just like even in the presence of the dragons, I feel like there's not like a level of respect, and that probably comes from them like never having to experience them because they never come to their lands or never have to deal with that. But like a lot of it just also seems like unafraid. Like that whole scene with the panthers. Yeah, your panthers are cool, but it's like we have literally a dragon the size of the room, and we could just like melt all of you.
And I honestly, even like the dragons, I feel like the griffins are bigger than the panthers.
Oh yeah. They're like I want to talk about this a little bit too because there's a piece of me. I think King T might just be soft because if I'm King T, people are disrespecting my son even though my son's a fuck up. But like I would just be like, we're gonna go into your damn stupid island and we're gonna take it over. Like you're done. Like because like what can they do about it? Got a couple.
Is part of the agreement they reach? Oh shit! Sorry. Yeah. Long day at work today. But is part of the agreement that Violet makes to like this doesn't get spoken about?
Yeah. That was
like does King T know who like that this happened?
Ooh. See, I don't know about that because I know like on the further islands that we talked about, I know that is part of the agreement that will not, everything that happened in the room doesn't get spoken about. Actually, I feel like most of them are like that because I feel like even the next island, I think that's also. I don't know. We'll have to keep that in because I wouldn't be surprised actually now I think about it because I feel like a lot of what's happening recently, especially with the quest god and everything like that, they're just like, we don't really care about Navarian rules and laws anymore. We're just going to do whatever we want. We're going to fly to each island, not care.
Yeah. Which, I mean, the logic makes sense in it. Like, they wouldn't find the dragons. I don't know if they're going to find them. That's kind of where I'm leaning at right now. Mm-hmm. But they definitely wouldn't find them if they were flying back every time.
Well, my thing is, these dragons can turn invisible. So my thoughts if they wanted to be found, they'll be found. If they don't want to be found, they won't be found. Because it's like I don't know. Like at least that's my opinion. If they could turn invisible like in Darna and you can't see them anymore, what's to say that even if you do come across the island that they're on, that they're just like, we're just gonna go invisible until you leave because we actually don't want to be found.
Yeah, that's a very good point. So, I don't know if they're going to find him at the book. If they do, I think how it's going to happen. So, where we leave off, they're on the second to last isle. That's not like one of the minor ones. I think it's either going to happen on this aisle or the next, because this aisle's got some weird shit going on. We'll close up on that.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
either on one of the last two aisles, or it won't be until they go back and are like punished for going and like not finding the dragons, that Andarna like sends out some kind of signal or something, and the rest of the Irids pick up on like the trouble they're in and like come and like save them.
Mm.
Like, I don't think these dragons are like kind of what you're saying, like they can just hide
Hmm.
and be invisible.
Yeah.
Like, I think they will reveal themselves when they want to. I don't think they're gonna hide, or I don't think they're gonna be found. Like,
Yeah. There's a piece of me, dude. What if these dragons, because they could turn invisible, what if they, like, I'm trying to think back if there's ever been a scene where something's happened where we're like, how did this person live? Or how did this. I'm trying to think if there was ever a scene where something weird happened. Maybe the dragons are already around. And they are just
that's
working in, like, kind of these mysterious ways. Just so it can't be seen, though. They're doing stuff. That'd be, I don't know if that's true or not, but I'm trying to think back if I remember anything where I'm like, that was a little bit of a weird scenario. She didn't write it that well. And maybe she didn't write it that well because it was.
yeah. Well, I feel like Fourth Wing is kind of eliminated just because all the weird shit like that, where
Mhm.
like it could seem like an invisible dragon saved the day, was when Violet used her time stop shit from Andarna.
Yeah.
Like, just the magic of it. I don't. I feel like Iron Flame, most of the shit that's like written as like it's weird and like more to think about is before we know Zayden is an intention reader,
Hmm.
and like Violet's like, I didn't realize I said that out loud, and she didn't. And then also other weird shit that just like implies to what Violet's signet is, but I really can't.
There was
Like, I
a.
don't think it's one that we've been told about.
Dude. I wish I wrote it down. Dude, I don't know why I didn't write it down. There was something in these chapters where it more defines now that I think she can, like, tell what's going to happen in the future, kind of thing, or like,
I
or
don't
like
hate that.
apply her influence onto somebody else to get someone to do something. That, like, I think that's a better way of, because it
I
gets,
think it.
yeah,
I could see it being something like that because we'll just keep it moving, like we talked about. Eric replacing Halden.
yeah,
The
yeah.
only other thing we didn't mention is Garrick joins the quest squad because Bodhi says he needs to be there in case Satan loses control
Hmm.
because he channeled in the other aisle. But then they go to the next aisle where everyone has silver hair apparently, which makes me think that like
Oh
they
yeah.
like kind of talk about it like
Not everyone has silver
Violet's like
hair. One
my
girl has it, right? Only one girl has it, I
well
thought.
they all have silver hair, but only one girl she sees has like the brown to silver,
Yeah.
like the same hair that Violet has. My thoughts on that are that she like briefly mentioned something about like, oh, my parents wouldn't like sacrifice me to the dragons or something.
Hmm.
Like, I don't really know. I think it's gonna be something with that. I don't really know what it is, but
Let me chuck a
like
theory
just
at
the
you.
way it was mentioned. Yeah, chuck a theory, and then we'll get into
Let me chuck a theory at you. So
the fight.
yeah, because dude, the father, right, has all this time to visit all these islands, and she doesn't really have any recollection of it. Really, right? She's always asking herself, "How do I know, like, when my dad finally got there? He doesn't really talk. When do you have the time? What if it's like, what if there's just like a, because now that actually doesn't really connect too well in my head, but like I was also thinking, dude, what if he had like a affair with somebody there, and
I
then
was
she's
thinking
not
that's what you were gonna
really, yeah,
say,
she's really not Lilith's daughter.
dude. You want to get real crazy? What if Stephanie is her real mom?
That would be quite. That would actually. How old is Stephanie? Do we know how old she is?
I don't know if they,
We'd
because the
have to.
problem
Dude,
is
that'd be.
she like always describes like the Venom as like they'd be good looking if they weren't fucking like riddled with disease,
Yeah,
like all the extra
fuck.
magic in them.
Fuck,
What
that's
about that,
mad
dude? That's
good.
a theory right
Dude,
there.
that's a massive theory. Dude, there's a theory in my head which is going on that like Lilith is not really like the mother of any of them. Cuz she doesn't really, at least in my mind, there's a possibility, a world where, because isn't the father's last name is like Daxton, isn't it? Asher Daxton or something like that?
Dude, so I was thinking about that earlier. So when his name first comes up,
Uh-huh.
like in the pre-chapter blurbs, all of them say Asher Sorengale.
Yeah.
And then like once they're on the Isles, it says so, like Asher Daxton, which makes
Yeah.
me think he was traveling with. I almost think he was traveling with a different name because like Sorengale is like known as like what do they call them? Fire bringers.
Fire breathers. Well, I think the fire breathers were
Or like
just like the dragons. They just they're just like a derogatory
no,
name for the dragons.
they have the derogatory name for the people too, not just the Amarales, but
The Emeralds.
I th- I think they call them either fire starters or fire bringers.
It could be.
Like
They
for the
definitely don't call
magic,
them riders.
like the
That's for sure.
signet.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that's more like we definitely need to learn more about that. But I feel like he was going undercover, unless Sorengale was Lilith's maiden name, and he took her name. I don't know if that's confirmed or not.
Dude, because there's a thought, dude. What if? Okay, I'm going to combine our theories. What if Stephanie is the mother of all of them? This is a crazy thought. Stephanie is the mother of all of them, and he's just like, I don't know, dude. I would like to know what Stephanie's last name is. If it's Daxton, that would go hard. There's a piece of me that where I think Lilith like understands the importance of these three girls, or two girls and Guy, and was just like, I'll take on the burden. But like there's like, I guess maybe that theory also, because it's not like they didn't have a childhood and they didn't see their mother. They're
That I don't think even the Stephanie thing, like as we were talking about it, because it's like a prominent point in Fourth Wing that Violet's hair is like a dead giveaway that she's a Sorengale.
But like I don't know, it's just like the different color, because like you know what gets brought up a lot is like the eyeballs from the final Hadodas place. That like there's a certain plant on the land and everyone eats
the
it
purple
and they
eyes?
get the purple eyes. Yeah. So I'm thinking
Yeah.
like maybe there's something to do with the silver hair that she gets it there, because it's not like the other Sorengales have this silver hair, or do they? I don't think they do.
Mira and Brennan don't. Brennan has red hair. I don't know about Mira,
Yeah.
but I'm pretty sure they say like her braid, like the silver is like Lilith's hair. I almost think Lilith's hair is all silver, and maybe she was from the Isle.
She
I
could
don't
be.
know. We definitely need some more backstory on that because there's like
some-
we could just focus on that this whole time and like theorize on random shit there.
Yeah. Yeah, because I don't really have anything more to go on that besides, like, I could go on more about just talking about the possibility of this, him actually, Violet not being Mira's sister or something like that. It could be an interesting take, but
I
I don't know.
I think Mira and Brennan are definitely their kids, like between the two of them.
Yeah, I would say that. Well, Violet could be
Especially
the.
since Violet could be
It's also, dude, just
elsewhere.
because.
But I mean, Asher says like in the note, he's like, "You're the best of me and your mother," like in Fourth Wing. And then, but Narelle is like, when she's talking to Mira, and she goes, "Your mother was busy raising you while your dad was busy raising her," or like some shit. So like
Yeah.
that's another indication where it could be like maybe Lilith isn't the mom.
Yeah, because she was a writer.
I
She was
don't know.
definitely working.
That's the thing that pissed me off is they'll like she'll throw in Stephanie shit like deep lore like
Yeah.
that like could be mean so many things and like we want to know more about it and then just like never go back to it for like 10 more
Never
chapters.
go back to it. Yeah, dude. Because now I'm like, yeah. I mean, I had something in my mind that I wanted to bring up about that because I also want to talk about because Mira goes on vacation to go meet with the grandmother, and we learn that there's a falling out between the grandmother. That's not really like talked about that much, and I'm wondering if there's a falling out between the grandmother because of Violet's not really daughter. And the other reason I want to tie this up is because Violet's the only kid that has this weird quest line that the father gave. I mean, yeah, like that Narelle says, well, you have your own prophecy to file. Bullshit. She doesn't have a prophecy. She got fucking nothing.
Yeah.
It's only Violet that has this weird like prophecy like built-in line kind of thing. And especially with Lilith going like to Xaden, you have to watch watch her. All of this is like meeting me to think that
knowing
like
how like that because the way that like we've seen from like the pre-chapter blurbs and like other shit from Lilith, like the way Lilith and Asher talk about it, like as a kid they knew she'd be like the most important thing in the world or like too smart for her own good. So it's almost like that the way that they talk about that about how important she is could almost be tied into the whole like dedicated to the dragons thing that she says that there's no way like I could have been like I don't know if it's like a dedication or a sacrifice whatever term that they
yeah.
use but that could almost be like I feel like that does play because of the way they talk about her like since the beginning how important she is and like also why Andarna knew to hatch for her.
Yeah. There's definitely the Imperium knows something more too, I would think as well.
Well, they know everything but only share what
Yeah.
like it's very much they stay by the word of like the beginning of the relationship being formed was just like out of necessity for like one minor part of like the sum of many wholes. So like they really only give each other like the dragons know everything about the humans, but or mostly everything, but the dragons like only share what is basically needed and like told from other humans.
Dude, it almost feels like the whole it kind of comes back to like the initial relationship between Violet and Satan was built on the whole idea of like I'm not lying to you, you just need to ask the right questions. I feel like that's the like slogan of the book. Like, are you brave enough to ask a question? And I feel like 90% of the time it's just like if you just ask the dragons, hey, what's this, they would just tell you. Because I feel like so many times like she'll like find something out and then she'll like go to Tyrion and be like, why didn't you tell me about this? She's like, yeah, you didn't ask. It's not my place to go tell you about things about other people's like whatever. So and that I don't know, that seems to be like the whole emphasis of the story, like the Xaden portion as well, the dragon portion as well. It gets dragged out, this whole slogan idea. And then on top of it, it just seems like she's not willing to ask questions. And dude, I'm blowing this out of proportion, I feel like. But like it also goes to her mentality where it's like she is very much like, I don't want to ask anybody anything. I want to figure out on my own kind of thing. Like, especially with the whole like scribe and reading books and like not really ever asking for help and trying to solve everything on her own. It's almost like
That's
the answer to her whole life is just like ask somebody a question. And you like,
I definitely don't hate that. Like I think that there's definitely some backing to that, but I think it goes into how you were saying about like being a scribe, like, and you see it when Violet and Dane are talking in front of Narelle, and like she like has a flashback of like Asher saying that Dane would never be a scribe because like he doesn't do enough digging or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's the nature of being like trained to be a scribe to like figure everything out. And it's also like everything that she thought was true and like being told from like the people that she trusted and like the supposed like smartest people was all just a lie.
Mm-hmm.
So like Markham, like she spent the first 20 years of her life like thinking that he was like an absolute G and like the fucking man like that knew everything.
Yeah.
And in reality he's just a fucking cocksucker that lied about everything.
Pretty much. He made himself sound smart because he just withheld information from everybody else.
Yeah, exactly.
And
people believe because they have no reason not to until fucking Zayden cucks Dane and is like, listen, people, listen to your dragons. Like, we need to get out of here.
Relax, dude. Dude, I'm telling you, they're really building Dane up to have like some crazy.
Keeping it moving. Dane gets bitched in that old trio fight.
Dude, I was sad about that. What the fuck was that about? But let's not be okay. Also, I want a preference. Not only does if people don't know what we're talking about, we're moving along. We're on the next island where they're trying to. They no longer have Halden anymore. They're trying. We have Eric
there.
Now. Yeah, Eric's there,
and it's like the God of War.
Yeah,
I forget the name.
I'm trying to remember what that girl's name is. For some reason I thought
It's like the high priestess, like starts cutting.
It's not Zadile or whatever. That's the god of.
No,
luck.
That's the god of luck.
Hadodes are the wisdom people.
The one before the Hadodes.
Yeah, the one before the Hadodes. Why can't I remember that girl's name? That girl's name was not that it wasn't like forgettable. I'm trying to remember what that was.
Well, I think you're.
The queen. What was the queen? Yeah, the queen's name. Yeah, what's her name?
It was like Queen Mayra.
That whole scene
like
brought me into. I don't know if you remember the Dune scene or like a Gladiator scene. That was what I was getting a vibe of.
It was definitely like Gladiator or like a Dune fight too.
Dude, you remember the Dune?
Like one of the one-on-ones with blades?
Yeah, do you remember the Dune where like was it like Faye Ratha is like turning 18 or something like that, and they send out a bunch of drugged warriors to go fight him?
Yes.
That's
his birthday present.
That was his birthday present. I literally felt like Violet was Faye Ratha just with all these drugged idiots around her, because I feel like she gets slapped in every fight, and then all of a sudden, on this particular fight against the Queen, which she didn't know was the Queen, granted, just absolutely embarrasses her. Imagine being the Queen. You probably spent your whole life learning how to fight, and you just get absolutely chucked on by someone like half your size.
Well, that brings it to the fucking Signet again, because she's like, "How did you do that?"
I wanted to bring that up. But before we talk about the Signet stuff, I do want to preference. Dane wasn't the only one getting bitched. Zayden also got bitched. Let's bring it back. And probably Dane got the biggest guy, and that was proven to be correct. So Dane took one for the team. He took one for the boys.
Zayden got the biggest guy. What are you talking about?
Settle down. Zayden got like an even match.
Hang on. It is the Isle of Dune. Dune is the god of
the
war.
Dune fighter.
Yeah. Let me find the fucking queen's name. But yeah, the high priestess, like, dude, at first, it like all made sense at first. Mm-hmm. Like it was Zayden versus the one big dude, and then they're negotiating for weapons, and Violet's like, well, he's missing his biggest one, so she's like, okay, you fight with two then, and I was like, okay, Zayden and Dane versus one massive human being, sure.
Yeah.
And then they just call out the other massive human being.
I know.
And I was like, well, what was even the point of adding Dane?
Mm-hmm.
And then Violet just gets chucked in there to verse the massive queen.
And plus, on top of the high priestess just like, no, you're not going to fight. You're too weak. And then she's just like, you know what? I don't care anymore. I'm going to slice you.
Exactly.
Slice your forearm. Get in there. Like, but then like even in the fight, like she like just absolutely craps on that girl. It breaks her rib, but still craps on her. Essentially, There was a piece of me that's like, come on, bro, just kill this girl. Who cares? Like, it would have been a power move to kill the queen. I'm not gonna lie, but doesn't kill the
It
queen.
would have been. It's Marlies.
Marlies.
Or Marlis.
There you go. Shows restraint, throws the knife over, saves Zayden's life. Dane's over there getting stuck, getting a boot on his neck.
Dying.
Still alive.
Dane is dying.
Still alive. Still alive. He's chilling.
Well, he's still alive, but he was in fact dying.
He was in fact getting softed. I'm not gonna lie. He was getting pounded over there, but he ends up living. What are your thoughts? Did she channel? Did she not?
Well, I think she definitely channeled because the like lightning that randomly shows up, and she's just like, "Oh, it's a coincidence." Okay. There was one that literally saved her life that came in. And even if that is a coincidence, Marlies is literally like... Because she, like we said before, like trained to be a fighter her whole life, basically. Like knows exactly how she's going to fight and like what she does and like doesn't do. And so it seems like if she was facing a non-magical person of Violet's size... Like, she would have fought her differently and not, like, underestimated her. Or, like, however Violet phrases it, or however Marlies phrases it, like, you were small, you, like, knew to, like, draw me in or something.
That's so what I was talking about. It seems like
it's got to be
that's
some,
the second
like,
segment.
mind work thing.
Yeah, that's what I was you jogged my brain. That's what I was talking about earlier.
She has to be channeling it. And it's, like, brought up on another aisle too, I think, but I'm not like positive, or at least it's brought up again like since we last talked.
Yeah.
But what if it's like something to do with like an underestimation thing? Like almost like controlling the mind to like think what she wants you to think about her.
That would be good. Yeah, I'm on board with that as well. I'm on board with like underestimation kind of thing because we saw that is a possibility because we had Varish who had the ability to see people's strengths and weaknesses. So definitely would be able to, show that like or make people believe that you are weaker than you are.
There's definitely like whatever it is. Like there's definitely magic for anything.
Yeah, no, that's definitely true.
Like we could like throw 1,000 things against the wall and none of them could stick, but they could all be like actually plausible.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think, yeah, I'm on board with yours. I'm also on board with the possibility of like making your opponent do something, but she doesn't seem aware of it. That's the thing that is making me like, what the hell? Like I almost should reread some of these because she's not aware of that she's channeling her signet during these moments, but they keep happening where it's almost like through her intentions, she is making people do things. So, yeah.
Dude, I think that's the right track because I'm almost thinking like it's some kind of form of just like mind control in general.
Yeah. It's some kind of like influence she has on people.
Yeah, like making someone do something. Because, like, dude, this is rabbit hole. I was thinking...
I love a rabbit hole.
What if fucking she just, like, made Zayden fall in love with her?
Dude, I was thinking about it. What if Zayden doesn't have intention reading? What if he's just, like, getting fucking smacked by her, and he thinks he just never read her intentions?
He definitely
and
does.
He's just feeding her. She's just feeding him.
Well, she could be using his against him.
Yeah.
Like that kind of thing. But no, he definitely has the intention reading because there's times where he's reading other people's. Dude. Like in Iron Flame when they're at the meeting with Melgren and like they just had that fight and she's like, don't not do it like on account of me. Read their intentions so we can figure out what's going on.
Yeah. Dude, what if you know Kat's falling for Traeger or they're now in a relationship with Traeger?
I love it.
That's massive. What if but like every time that, like that gets brought up, she like shares her like inner convictions about how happy she is and how like she was hoping like something like that would happen. What if their relationship is only built on the possibility that like she's infesting her mind with being like, this is what I want you to do?
Sure.
Like I almost think subconsciously she is controlling people subconsciously without even realizing it. I think her signet is that, where it's just like whatever she's feeling like people should be doing. Like this is what I want you to be doing.
It's almost like her signet. I'm pretty sure you've seen the movie Lucy, right?
Yeah.
It's almost like her second signet is like using 30% of her brain.
Yeah, just using more brain.
Like she just uses her brain better than everyone else.
I know. It's almost like I feel like her second signet is her subconscious can link to other people's subconscious.
Dude, it's 100% brain related, and it's not like I don't think it's Zayden's. I don't think it's Melgren's. Like it's not like the foresight thing, but like it's almost like a mixture of every brain signet we've seen.
Yeah. She definitely has like,
because there's conversations that she has with Zayden, and I wish I wrote them down, but it's because we've seen plenty of times of when Zayden's reading her mind, and she like Rebecca writes it as a thought, but then Zayden answers it, and she's like, I didn't realize I said that out loud. There was a few times, I think in this last section that we read, where they're talking and Zayden like says something and Violet's like, wait, what? Like, where did that come from? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I know you're talking about. He'll like randomly respond to something, and she's not like talking through the bond, and you're just like, how did he get that? Because we know that he can't actually read minds; he can only read intentions. So the intention of
he like says something, and she's like, I thought like you can't. There's no magic. You're not reading my intentions, and. He was like, oh, like it wasn't in the bond either. I don't know how I got there or whatever.
Yeah, I guess maybe she can like place. That's what I'm saying. Like her subconscious connects to other people. And
it's almost like
she's
like
placing thoughts in people.
Yeah.
Dirty work right there.
It's basically like just mind control.
Dirty work.
That's why I think like she could have just completely made Zayden fall in love with her. But that was pre her having that signet.
Oh, dude.
Because that was before Andarna was even full grown when they like fell in love.
Yeah, no, that would be pre-signet. Yeah, I there's definitely some. I almost think now, like, oh, dude, there's a lot of parallels I could draw with Dane now, where it feels like Dane's character shifts like hardcore from his father, and that's off of a lot of her thoughts being like, I wish Dane would do this, or I really need Dane, where she's like intensely thinking about it and there's a long dialogue, and then all of a sudden Dane's just like, yeah, sure, I'll do it, and like without a fight. I feel like I've seen that a lot happen.
I agree, because, and especially since it helps like our theory that we're building here. But I will say I think Dane is definitely hit hard by first in like Iron Flame when he sees like all the memories of Resin, and like all the shit that's happening. So like, or like when Zayden says he has the epiphany, like in the interrogation room, and then also when Colonel Ados, or I think he's General at that point, he shows up in battle brief to drag Violet out.
Yeah,
and then Dane like stands up and he's like, Dad? And Ados is just like, I don't have a son.
Yeah.
So I think he's pretty much full team, like he's full team Orisha at this point.
Yeah, he could be. No, I don't disqualify that.
I do agree that I wouldn't disqualify her having a little bit of mind control on Dane too.
I feel like there's a lot of mind control going on. There's also second signets we're talking about. We have to jump back a little bit, back to when they're all like getting ready to go on the second quest essentially after they came back because Zayden channeled like randomly on that island and killed everyone, and he's got to take some time to like make sure his eyeballs aren't red. And then
he comes back and they're amber instead of onyx.
Yeah. He's lost the gold flecks from his little thing, but.
Yeah.
A little bit of conversation there about Brody. You know, we're trying to figure out Brody's second signet, and he is not willing to share, even though.
Well,
it's kind of cute. It's kind of we already know.
I don't think he has one because when it first comes up about the rebellion relic, sometimes having two signets, Zayden's like. It happens often enough where I don't think it's Melgren. I forget who he says. But he's like, or Kaori, I think, or Carr maybe for signets, whatever. Mm-hmm. Dane's like, it happens often enough where he doesn't have an accurate record, but infrequently enough that no one questions me just having one. Because then Bodhi says, I only have one, just like Zayden. Yeah, because no one knows that he can read the intentions.
I guess. I don't know. Something feels off about that. I like Bodhi's character is oddly like knows a lot of things. I don't know.
I think Bodhi is like the most nerfed character.
Yeah, but I think he controls a lot of things. I would be surprised if Brody was like Venom or something like that. It was just like playing double agent status, because he does have like some crazy power, and all he's doing is just like sitting in the fighting pits like, you're firebending too hard, relax, and then just control that real quick. that's what he's doing.
Yeah, that's true. But I think it's because like they just hose him. Like he should be on Quest Squad.
He should be,
especially now that it's known that the Venom can have signets. Like Bodhi just becomes even more of an absolute weapon because he can end those.
He's easily the strongest character in the entire like universe, because he brings everybody to hand-to-hand combat. And if he's just like the best, if he was just practiced to be the best hand-to-hand weapons master, he'd beat anybody in a duel.
Well, like, it seems like
the
only
hard.
Two that are better than him are Zayden and Garrick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like Bodhi might be playing some mind game.
I only think it's like that because Bodhi, like Garrick and Zayden are a year older than Bodhi. So it's almost just like the only difference in their hand-to-hand combat is like that extra year.
Yeah.
Because Bodhi's signet is literally the most powerful one, but no one talks about it.
Yeah. No,
for Violet, most powerful signet, nothing with if Bodhi's just like does a little hand twirl. Lightning gone.
That's what I'm saying. He could easily kill anyone. Like, as long as he was to practice to be the best fighter, he would destroy anybody in a fight. Especially if he has a second signet, he'd be OP because he could turn everyone's signets off and then just crap on them. Like, if he got like a bitch power like fire or ice, he would clap everybody. There would be no one could touch him.
Yeah.
The other thing, like maybe he could get touched, would be like if someone was like a mind manipulator, like a Violet, like we're predicting Violet. So maybe she is the only person. Yeah. She is the strongest because she'd have. I guess that makes sense because she'd have to be able to kill Bodhi, and Bodhi would be the strongest. I don't know. In my mind, I think he's the strongest out of all of them. But I feel like Rebecca can't place him too much into the plot because he is too OP. Like, he's just disgustingly OP.
Well, yeah, because he, like, so many of the situations they get into, like, he would just be able to...
Oh, yeah. Easily would crap out of it.
That's done.
Yeah, he would easily slap everyone. And also, let's talk for a second. Everybody wants these dragons. but no one can really have these dragons because there's no magic apparent. Obviously there's no magic. I guess it's not really much to talk about. They're not willing to give the dragons because it's not theirs to give. And then we get off Dune after just embarrassing them. They won't fight for us though, but they will allow us to land. They said because they want the dragons.
Yeah, they just do basically what Deverelli does.
Mm.
And then they go to, what are we calling it?
Hedotis.
Then we drop into Hedotis, and surprise, we are greeted by Zayden's mother.
Talia,
I believe her name is. Absolute bitch.
Literally.
Sucks.
Conniving snake. Love the character, but a conniving snake.
Yeah. It's pretty much, we end with that whole, it's like a 3-chapter arc, basically.
Dude,
we can just end, talking about that. But the whole sequence is unreal.
Dude, what's with the crossover of names? We have Varish, and now we have Farish. We are just...
It was...
We have...
Farish.
It was Farish.
Rosalind. And...
His
Yari?
Yeah, I'm just saying, his name is Farish or Farish or whatever. I'm just drawing a reference to Varish from, Book 1 Iron Flame. Those names are very eerily similar. I don't know why.
Both scumbags.
Both scumbags. Both playing exactly how they would play it, though. Both being, those two characters are identical. I feel like they have to be brothers. I'm throwing it out there, tipping my shit in the cap. I think we got brothers there.
I don't hate that. That could be a little something.
Yeah, just because Varish comes out of nowhere. Not? I'm just who knows if it is, but in my mind, that'd be a sick crossover.
That's a fun one.
Yeah,
that's a fun one that has no harm or no harm, no foul.
Yeah, we need to go back and look at Varish's eyes. Did he have purple eyes, or did he have some weird eyes with gold flecks in them?
He was. Just
did he have gold fleck eyes? Weird. We'd have to see. He might have. Yeah, dude, that whole area is fucking interesting. They are hydrophobic, I believe. That was they don't have pores. They're afraid of water.
I took a picture of that because it was the funniest thing in the book. It was that, and then that pre-chapter note where Lilith's your tasted men is terrible, Violet.
Yeah. Those are freaking
funny. they're ... aquaphobic.
Aquaphobic. There it is. Aquaphobic. Yeah. They have a bunch of canoes outside because they don't want to bring a ship to land or something like that. They don't have no ports.
no port. They're a bunch of fucking losers.
I
will say, honestly, when towards the end of it, when Garrick is just fucking dying on the ground, and Violet's piecing it all together, and she's "How did I not notice that? Clearly, they knew we were coming."
Yeah.
She's oh, her reaction was fake. Clearly they knew we were coming if they knew we were in Deverelli or whatever it is.
Yeah, quick to put those into place. I do have to admit, when they put the chocolate cake down, we're really jumping ahead here, but when they put the chocolate cake down and he makes the comment about we don't have our forks and it's only the four of them. I was dude, don't eat the chocolate cake. Come on. Come on, what are you doing here? Your guests, you only have forks, the other people, all four of them get forgotten. It's crazy. So I was for sure knew that I was actually kind of disappointed that the lack of knowledge, especially after the last two islands you have been fighting constantly.
They're literally, the whole book series is be on your toes.
Yeah.
Be ready to go at all points. Don't trust anybody. And then they're just I know. You're not eating this, but let's eat it.
Yeah, they have we have the most flat-footed squad possible. No one can get on their toes. It's
my god,
insane.
And brutal look for Garrick, because I love Garrick, but brutal look for him, because he's just face full of cake, and like Violet's like, no. He's like,
Yeah.
what? They said to eat it, and then
Yeah.
last words like passed
Dude,
out.
definition of big dumb idiot
Yeah.
is Garrick right now. Just strong
Also, dude,
warrior, dumb idiot.
I don't know how you felt, but I like a page or two before that, I like kind of pieced together what was happening based off what Nick said, how the chapters ended.
Oh, that they were gonna end roughly. I knew something was up. Like,
He was like the one chapter ends with someone not breathing, and then the next one ends with someone stabbed.
the stab
Like
was
Riddick with the fucking
yeah. The stab was a
that,
reach, bro.
well, yeah, but we think it's him being stabbed at the end of it. But like it was just Violet and Riddick, so I was like, okay, obviously Violet's not gonna be the one that's just dying out.
Yeah. I knew nothing was going to happen, dude. That would have been the worst way to kill off Riddick in the kitchen by some chef.
It would have been a
terrible,
tough L for him. But
terrible read.
Garrick did not look good there.
Oh yeah,
But then
Garrick,
like Violet piecing everything together so fast too. Mm-hmm. It's almost like she can collect everyone's thoughts and put them together. Like can pull information from other brains.
Yeah, there's a piece of me that like thinks, dude, this is going to be a crazy reach here. There's a piece of me that I think Asher, her father, could see the future because he like a lot of these books.
Hate it.
Yeah, a lot of these books and stuff like that have like, here's all the floral fauna plants, like, and it's like super well written into it, and he's left a lot of. I would not be surprised if he was. I wouldn't be surprised if he himself had signet powers himself, and it should be crazy. Yeah,
I don't. So I know I called Brennan being alive. I don't think he's alive, but I do think that he was with the Irids for a bit. Like, I think he spent time with them.
Dude, what if we're gonna make a call out here? What if Asher Daxton isn't dead? What if he's with the Irids, just chilling?
He could be. I think something will come out that I don't think he's with them, but I think he was with them at some point. But if he is alive, he's with them.
Yeah, he's just straight chilling like a boss and just like doesn't care.
Yeah.
I don't know why he would do that, but there is a piece of me that thinks like he's just too smart of a guy. The way he died, like, oh, my heart gave out because my son. I just don't buy it. I don't buy it. I really don't buy it. It also makes me think that like, I don't know. There's a piece of me that thinks just like him and Lilith were just really good friends, and maybe like Lilith's best friend was like Thephany or whatever, and he had kids with her. And then they were just really good friends. And then obviously she became Venom and turned. And then he spent his whole entire life to like squadron up the vibes to go figure out how do we defeat the Venom or whatever. And like went to all these isles, pretty much doing the same exact thing that Violet was doing, trying to find a cure, but found out there just was no cure. And it was just like, the Irids are out there. We need like Violet needs to convince them, or dude, something like that. I could see that happening. Dude, like the dad is too
honest,
pog,
I don't
dude.
hate that.
It's just he's too OP. Like he's leaving breadcrumbs everywhere. He knows everything. He knows.
That's why I don't think he's alive, because it's like the Brennan one was like slightly foreshadowed with like certain shit. Mm-hmm. This one is like just right in your face, like if he's like magically alive.
Yeah. There's so much more. The father, and also all the Isles know him, like they know him as Asher Daxton. None of them like really confirming that they know he's dead or not, but they know that like
even Narelle didn't know he was dead because she asked Violet, "How did he die?"
Yeah, it's. There's just like weird. There's a lot of weirdness about the father because the islands know about the rebellion. They know that Fen Rorson is dead. They know about all that stuff. It's not like they're not getting information. And if this Asher, and all of them know about Asher Daxton, because we know at the end he's like, "Oh, you must be Asher Daxton's daughter." Like,
Yeah.
they're all like, "What the fuck?" So he must have came and like fucked it up, like left people like crying. Like, I'm not gonna lie, that might be
He's definitely
he's the man.
yeah.
Big Ash right
He
there.
is the man. Yeah. I definitely think he was going around the aisles. That's why I think he honestly like picked a different name, cuz he knew Violet would come back and like didn't want the connection maybe like to be so obvious.
Yeah.
Like wanted her to do it by herself and not with like being given extra shit because of him, or maybe giving like maybe he fucked it up so much that they would have like imprisoned her or some shit.
Yeah. Dude, there's a lot of I don't know. There's a lot because now that you've spindled the web of Stephanie being her mother, possibly that is cooking in my brain hard right now, and that's making me think
That's
that
not
like
bad, dude.
that's really making me think draw a massive comparison
Dude,
between Zayden and Violet now. Like one is becoming Venom slowly, and that's making me think that like and she's got the scribey kind of vibes. Asher was a scribe, but it's weird because they took Sorengale as the last. The Sorengale is blowing my mind, and the Daxon possibly being his last name is also blowing my mind.
yeah, we gotta figure out what like why the last names are different. But we've spent so much time like thinking about a connection between like the Venom and the non-Venom, and like trying to see the connections there.
Mm-hmm.
But it could just be a connection between Violet and Stephanie that has nothing to do with Venom.
It could,
Like it could be like an actual blood relationship.
it could be, but that's no fun. This is more fun. Is to be like this is her mother, and completely screw the plot and make it crazy. That'd be sick.
But that's what I'm saying. Like that'd be a blood relationship instead of fucking like a Venom connection. Dude, talking about screwing the plot, I threw this out at Sarah the other day.
Okay.
What if the book? I think it wouldn't happen because like remember like Grady wanted to search North.
Yeah.
I think when they came back, they like scrapped the two teams, and I don't think there's two teams anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But what if there was, and the quest squad just comes back empty-handed, and then like the people up north found the dragons?
That would be crazy thought. But
Sarah was like, "Then why did we even read the book?" And I was like, "I don't know, but that'd be the funniest ending ever."
then why do we even read the book? That'd be actually hilarious. They come back with the earrings and just like have loads of them. Oh, that'd be wild. I'm trying to think of like because because all right. Is there anything else we want to talk about that dinner scene? Obviously, Riddick gets the knife thrown at him once again. Whether it be he clumsily stays alive through his like clumsy nature, or is it possible that he's a Venom? We don't know the answer to that one. Him getting a knife just like stuck in his jacket, crazy. So it was,
dude, it was a cook. Like he's not some fucking.
He's throwing a butcher knife. It's not like he's throwing a pencil knife at him. He's throwing a butcher's knife. Like, and that just gets stuck in his thing and doesn't go all the way through. I don't know. There's a piece of me. Riddick is just casting doubt. I'm casting doubt. There's a possibility he's a Venomeister. And he's one of the strong Venomeisters. He's a strong ass Venomeister, dude.
I disagree personally. Well, if he was strong, his eyes would be red.
You're not wrong.
If he was higher than ASIM or whatever the fuck they are, ASIMs.
True. Dude.
I don't think he's Venom, but in the start of the book, for him, like he had a massive uprising, like to get on Quest Squad, and then once they're like away from everyone else, and he's done giving his speeches about like why he should be there protecting her, and we need to stick together. He does nothing like for the actual Quest Squad.
Yeah,
like when shit goes down, he just gets told to like stay there with someone else and don't let anyone die.
his only mission is to be with Violet. I don't really necessarily think it's to be a protector of Violet because it doesn't. I don't really get the vibe that he's trying to really protect her. It's almost like he just wants to constantly be around her, which feels very like secret agent vibe, where he's just like you said, he tries so hard to get a quest god, fucking doing nothing, bro. The entire like half the Isles, he does nothing on them. Like we don't. I forgot Riddick was even there for a while until he got.
I agree. He really like that. He goes from like this massive arc to like seeming more important and then like honing his signet and like doing all the reading to be up to date on what he needs to know for the mission. And then once they're on it, he just becomes comic relief again.
Yeah, I don't know. There's something up with that character. I can't quite put my finger on it, but he oddly keeps escaping death. I don't know why.
I don't want him to die, but they keep throwing him in to almost death.
That is true. But let's jump to the next island. We're on the next island.
We leave off on the second to last isle.
Yes.
They fly from Hedotis. They fly from there. That's when the Cat and Traeger thing is made official. Because Kira Lur is lagging behind for Salamer, whatever the fuck the Griffin's names are. And then they land, and one of the crazier things in the books is them, like the dragons arriving, and the people of the Isles just applauding.
Dude, we're landing.
It's so weird.
We're landing in the middle of the World Cup. It felt like with how like everyone's just like in the stadium packed out. Like we know you're coming.
It was basically the World Cup, and then Tiernan and Andarna were the teams. Oh, yeah. But they arrived, and then everyone went crazy.
Everyone's fucking nuts. They're going crazy about it. And then, obviously, we find out, lo and behold, there is magic on this island for some reason.
Yes. So, I'm thinking that Zayn's going to channel there. I think.
True.
I think this book would be so much better if the Xaden Venom thing just wasn't a thing.
Dude, I have to agree. I honestly think we should have killed Xaden off already. I think that would have just made it better.
I disagree with that. Like, I like everything Xaden's doing except the whole Venom thing. Like, the fact that we need to point out that he's standing on faded bricks all the time.
Yeah.
Like, just make the mission to get the Irids so much more important. Emphasize that it's so important to get that, and you're finding a cure for the Venom for, like, just to find a way to stop them instead of curing Xaden. Because it's getting pretty dragged on, and realistically, I don't think they find a cure, at least at the end of this book.
I don't think so either, because I'm going to go off that initial theory that you spundled that Thephanie's the mom, and I'm spinning the thought that Asher is the father, was with Thephanie, and then she turned full Venom, and there was like nothing he could really do about it. So then he just went.
She stopped his heart.
Ooh, we're cooking now, William. We're cooking now. She could have been the reason he died, not Brennan. That would be crazy.
I'm trying, dude.
You're definitely cooking something fucking fully cooked. Holy shit. Dude, that's more believable to me because that's how it feels right now. I wouldn't be surprised if Xaden just becomes full Venom and just gets clapped. Like, I don't know. Like, he just also doesn't seem like a character that anyone really cares about, really, from the Venom. The Venom only care about Violet. And that also furthers the plot line that this is probably Violet's mom. Even though we don't know the age, it's unconfirmed. They could be the same age. I have no idea. But I doubt it, though, because that just doesn't make any sense. Because why would an ASIM... ASIM would be that age.
Because she's... what is it? It's Sage and then Mavis.
Yeah, Mavis.
I think Stephanie's a Sage. I don't
Yeah,
think she's a Mavis.
but yeah, but you definitely aren't like a
But like Sage, you don't think 21.
no. I'm thinking
Or
40s,
however Violet is.
40s, 50s,
Yeah.
somewhere up there. You're assuming for a while. That's my guess. But yeah, I'm trying to.
I think there's something in between Asim and Sage, but I could be wrong.
It might just be like cadet or something like that. I wouldn't be surprised if they just chucked a
Yeah.
cadet there. All right.
Or no, because it goes Initiate Asim.
Oh,
Sage,
yeah,
or
yeah, you're
Sage,
right.
Mavis. And then they learn there's something above Mavis, I think.
Yeah, maybe. I can't confirm nor deny that one. I can't really
Not
remember.
important. They suck. Hopefully Zayden doesn't become one. I'll be irate if the book, like the series ends, and it's just like Zayden leading the Venom versus Violet leading the Navarians.
I actually wouldn't hate that. I wouldn't hate that. They need to do something with Zane. Zane's character is getting so boring. He's
Dude,
just,
and the thing is, I think he's pimping in all of these scenes until they're just like, oh, he needs to go hide. His eyes are a little red.
yeah.
Let him go stand on those faded bricks.
Yeah, let him go. Let him go eat a Snickers bar in the corner. Like it's like I don't know. He's just like I don't know. His character's just like so whiny too. I don't know. His character. He's also like
he's
too
super
love
self-loving.
tranched too as well. Or he's just like he's like simping uncontrollably hard for Violet, which is like relax, brother. Settle down, like
Dude. That's why
he seems mentally unwell.
I kind of love it because he's just so cool, calm, collected with everything else. Like absolutely in control, absolutely the man. And then he's just like, you fucking come within a 10-foot pole of Violet, I will absolutely murder you.
It's like, did you flick some dust over here? You're done. Like,
Yeah,
you touch
cooked.
me, you're done. Killing everyone.
Done.
Get out of here.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah, we pretty much talked about everything. I do want to make a mention though that like the Hidodi people were just awful. Like supposedly the most wise people. It was one of the cooler scenes, but also I felt like it just didn't even need to be in the book. It was definitely one of the sickest scenes, but it was like, what are we even doing on this island? These people blow. Like they don't know anything. They're really unwise. We're being told that if you pray to this god, you don't pray to I forget what the god's name is because I don't think the god's name is Hedotus. I don't remember what the god is. A god of being wise is. You don't pray for that. You have to earn that or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that.
No, I agree with that. I think it was the best chapters. So, like, I definitely thought they were really good. I don't get like every isle they get to, and Darna's like, my kind aren't here, and they're just like, well, we're gonna search anyway. Like, it's okay.
They're not even searching. They're just like, we're just gonna go talk to king or queen or whatever. We're gonna go get bitched for like whatever amount. We're not gonna establish an alliance, and we're just gonna be told we can land here. Like there's a lot of things,
and no one seems to be worried that they might be like they're just invisible.
Yeah. I don't know. And all these islands just seem to not really care too much to want to get involved. I don't know. They all want dragons, though. Yeah, I don't know. It makes me think, though, that, like, possibly in order for an island or something to have magic, you need to have an Irid. And that's why I think possibly there could be an Irid on this island.
It could be true. I need to know why they're clapping. Because maybe, honestly, what if they're clapping because, like, they only have the Irids? So they're like, oh shit, more dragons, like let's get excited.
Yeah. There's a piece of
other breeds are coming in.
That or like maybe they only have like a few dragons left or like there's a very small amount left and like more are coming. It's like the coming of Messiah, like, oh my god. This was written in the prophecy, like a religious thing. We'll definitely find out more, but that's my vibe. That they're kind of like, this is like a religious kind of thing for them.
Yeah, like it was said that the dragons would come.
Yeah.
Like, and Yeah, and
the
then
lightning wielder would
bountiful
arrive.
success followed. Yeah.
Then we got rain.
It'll be. I'm curious to see what's the deal with this aisle.
This aisle's gonna be sick.
Yeah.
I hope.
But the next time we're talking, that's gonna be the end of the book.
Yeah.
End of book review.
We're ending the book, folks.
We'll figure out what's going on that aisle, how it ends, and if Xaden gets cured or not.
Yeah.
I don't think he does. And what Violet's second signet is, we'll be able to talk about what that is when it's confirmed, apparently.
Yeah, and if we find Irids, if we find what we've been looking for this entire time, find the almighty Irids, or if Andarna is in fact the last one. I'm excited for the end of this book. We'll see. I hope it ends kind of nicely, but I feel like everyone's depressed right now, or that's like the thought. Like everyone's depressed because the book ends on a massive cliffhanger. At least that's what I remember Nick telling us. So
great. Another spoiler.
Not a spoiler. That's not a spoiler. You can read that from anyone, I guess. That's been talked about.
I don't want to know though.
Well, now you know.
I want to embrace the cliffhanger.
Get cliffied.
Without knowing it's a cliffhanger.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. I guess we'll leave it there. If you guys made it to the end, thanks for watching. This is a special episode because Nick is sick, and it's just me and Will. But Nick will be back for the final ONYX Storm, finishing the book, and then, if you've watched the previous video, you already know the next book, but I'm not going to spoil the next book. Here, we'll talk. Yeah, I'm not gonna spoil it again. If you really want to know what book we're reading, watch the last video. Otherwise, you'll find out next video. And I'm super psyched about the next series because it's my series.
Yes, it's Greg's turn.
It's my turn. Yeah, this was Nick's series. You didn't get to see Will's series, but we're gonna do a banger for Will's series. Don't worry, because come July.
Because Nick talks about this book being book of the year. Book of the year comes out in July.
Book of the year comes out in July is correct. Massive book of the year.
3 Shattered Souls. Book of the year comes out in July.
I cannot friggin' wait. What is the Goon Squad gonna do? I don't know.
I can't wait. We gotta see Big T take the throne.
Dude, I'm straight up gonna be at the bookstore like night it comes out.
That might be a midnight release.
That's a midnight release.
Might have to wait for that.
I'm gonna have to wait for that. I need to be there. I'm gonna go to my local bookstore. I need a midnight release that puppy.
Yeah, I'm gonna go into Barnes & Noble and be like, I need you guys to stay open late tonight.
I need the midnight release for this book. I know you only do that for like books that are mega, but I need the midnight release.
This is mega.
This is mega.
Definition of mega.
This is mega for us. This is mega for the club. So, all right. Well, we're gonna end it here. See you guys.
Yep, thanks for watching. See ya.
Love you.